Joining us now in the player escape room is former Australian Youth International and recent FFA Cup winner. Please welcome to the show, Melbourne Victory defender, Brendan Hamill. G'day, mate.
G'day, thanks for having me.
Mate, thanks for being here. I know at the moment you guys are back-to-back and you hardly got enough time for your family, let alone the football revolution, but we really appreciate your time.
Not a problem. Games are always good, so I'm not complaining on my end.
Yeah, mate, I'm not either. You know, the thing is at the moment, especially in Sydney, it's pouring down, but we want games pouring down. We don't want the weather pouring down. So, the more games, the better for football fans.
It will be pouring down for us, I suppose. We've had a few games postponed over the past couple of weeks with COVID, and unfortunately with the floods up in Brisbane, we had to miss 2 games, but we're going to have to catch them up, and potentially with a little Asian stint to throw in there. So, I mean, they're good problems to have. Everyone says it, but footballers just want to play. I'm not sick of training, but preseason was a very long time, so I don't want to get stuck into the games.
Yeah, most definitely, mate. So, firstly, congratulations on the FFA Cup victory, or Australia Cup, or whatever we're calling it now. Tell us about that fantastic night at AAMI Park.
Yeah, thank you. We went on a pretty incredible cup run. The first few games they were thrown in midweek, and we had our ALeague games in there as well. So we threw some of the youngsters in there, and along with some experience like your sort of Matt Spranovic and Cruzy and Lee Broxy played a game, I think. So it was kind of special in that way because a lot of the young boys, a lot of them were on youth team contracts. They trained with us throughout the preseason, and it was a tough time in Melbourne because there was a lockdown for 3 or 4 months. So, I'm just buzzing for those boys and everyone involved at the club and the fans especially because, the past 2 years haven't been the most memorable at Melbourne Victory. So to deliver something, to deliver a trophy to the fans is always special. And then I guess personally, as a player, I mean, everyone probably says it, but I mean, we're not out there just to play and just participate. Everyone wants to win and win trophies, and fortunate enough to win another trophy, and great experience I'll take with me for the rest of my career.
I definitely know where you're coming from because one of our guest hosts on the show, Jared Tyson, did a short injury stint at the Victory there, and so to watch him, I suppose maybe with his final role in the ALeague before he has his first child, the birth of his first child, was amazing to watch him. And like I said, he got you guys pretty much to the final, even though he had a blip on his I suppose his performance with the penalty miss. He more than made up for it. And then I suppose if you're going to miss, be a keeper, right? Because then you get a chance to redeem yourself. So, mate, definitely a lot of players there get a chance that they maybe wouldn't get when you have a cup or something like that for them to be able to show their stuff in.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was, I mentioned a few names, but Jared Tyson was one of them. Came in and played for a small period, but played a major role. And I think the hashtag is the magic of the cup. But I suppose if you look back at our cup run, it was actually magical. The players that we had, youth team players like Jared, older, experienced internationals, all coming together to pitch in, and that's pretty incredible to be a part of.
Mate, you're a Sydney lad, but moving to the Victory, you completed the Melbourne trifecta. So you've been at City when they were Heart. Now you're at Victory, and you're also previously at Western United. Was that decision mainly to be reunited with Popovic, who you had so much success with at the Wanderers? So you won the AFC Championship, you won Premier's Plate. Was that a big thinking in you staying in Melbourne? Because they're not going to get you permanently, but we're okay with them having you for another season or two. So is that a big reason for you moving to the Victory?
I just wanted to complete the trifecta, to be honest. I think I'm the first player. Actually, I thought about that, and I didn't play, or I haven't played for City. I technically played for Heart. So I think there's another team to complete the quaddie, I suppose you could probably call it. But yeah, no doubt. I think once the Victory showed some interest, I think walking through the facility, walking through the offices, meeting the club officials. I knew Victory were a big club, but they're a big club. Nothing that I've ever been a part of in my career as a professional. And I suppose, I've worked with the boss before, and knowing what he's about, and I think it's pretty clear in what he's about, what his DNA is, and he's had success pretty much everywhere he's been in Australia. So, as I mentioned earlier, I said I'm not in this game to just rack up, as many games as I can and just participate and play week in, week out. I think, my goal as a player individually is to win trophies. So I think that with that at the forefront of my mind, then I think, you've got to align the beliefs and what the DNA of the club is, along with the coaching staff and the backroom staff. And I think, it was an easy decision for me once I knew that they were there.
Mate, this is probably a no-brainer for you, but I'd still like to hear your opinion on this. So you've had so much success under Popper, and he's a current coach, so it's probably hard to say anything different. But would you say he's had the biggest influence on you as a gaffer?
Yeah, I think so. I think I spent 3 years under him at Western Sydney, and I was a younger lad. I think I was 21 to about 24, maybe just turned 25. And now being a 28, 29-year-old, under him, I suppose, I've been a professional for 12 years, so nearly half my career I've sort of, pretty much been under Popper or the boss. I call him the boss. So yeah, I suppose, I see myself going into coaching eventually, and I think there are a lot of traits that I see in him that I will be taking from what I've learned as a player. And obviously you can take things from all coaches, but I think the way he operates, and that he's renowned for being a success in Australia. So I mean, you can't really question that.
Yeah, mate, he's definitely a coach you can run your blueprint off. So yeah, definitely a smart move, mate. This is your 4th A-League club. So as we said, you've been at the 3 Melbourne clubs as well as the Wanderers. So tell us now, what does the Victory do better than the other 3? I'm going to hang you out here.
What does the Victory do better than any other club? Well, I touched on it before. I think Victory, I knew that they were a big club. Whenever I used to come up against them, coming to Amy Park or coming to Etihad, the crowd was obviously a huge sort of advantage for the home team, I guess. Acting as a 12th, sometimes even 13th man. If you go on Amy Park and there's 20,000 Victory supporters there, when I used to come as a Western Sydney Wanderer, it was like, wow, like it was back in those days when I was at Western Sydney, when it was pumping, it was kind of like what they sort of were doing with the RBB and that. But I suppose, the Victory with the bigger stadium and all that sort of stuff, the bigger fan base, it just took it to another level. So I think the professionalism, the infrastructure, the pathways that they got in place from top to bottom with the academy, they're the biggest club in Australia. So it's hard for me to articulate. If I can bring you to the change room one day and walk you through the gym and the facilities and the pitch and all that, then you'll see it for yourself.
You've locked me in. No problems. I'm more than happy to. I'm a Victory fan now. I try being on a football show to stay a little bit like Switzerland and stay neutral, but I am a Victory fan. So yeah, you don't have to ask me twice, mate. I'll be at Amy Park anytime you want me there. So
yeah, come to Amy Park, and then you'll feel it. You'll feel why it's a big club. You don't have to talk about it. You can just okay, yeah, it's a big club.
All right, mate. So before we get into 2 of the games we like to play with our guests, I do have a couple of last questions for you before we move into that. So of your current teammates and your former teammates, who would you, and there'll be 3 questions now, invite to dinner?
3 of them I've got.
So there's 3 questions. So you got to tell me for this one,
okay,
who would you invite to dinner? Which player, former or current teammate?
Just one player.
Yep.
One player.
Maybe he'd be able to do the cooking. Maybe he's the funniest. He'd make the party, make the dinner party more enjoyable.
Who drinks red wine? Who could I enjoy a nice bottle of red with? I'll go Matthew Sporanovic. Keep it local.
All right. What about trust to mind your kids? I can think of some you wouldn't.
Josh Risden.
Yeah, definitely.
I would definitely. I played with him for a couple of years. Who I wouldn't, I'll just probably, there's an obvious one, Chris Economides, and there's no way he's looking after any of my kids.
Okay, we'll keep a note of that one.
He's a kid himself.
Yeah, definitely. And last one, go on a road trip with.
Go on a road trip with. I went on in my second year with the Melbourne Heart. We went on an end of season. and it was a good turnout actually, about 14 or 15 boys. So I'll go with all of them again, or individually, maybe Ellie Barbal.
Okay, nice.
Yeah,
All right then,
Newcastle now,
mate. Like I said, you're flying with this, so this next one should be really easy for you. So this is the game, our version of Nuno, which is called Nuno. I'm a Spurs fan, so hence Nuno, former coach, as well as we've got our own superstar Nuno in the A-League in Nuno Reyes down in Melbourne City. So as I explained to you before, mate, there'll be 7 questions. You just pick the response that's most applicable for you. Ideally, we will be timing you. The current record holder or time to beat is Liam Rose from the Bulls on 22.75, but it's more about your quality of your touches than it is about just getting any answers in. So look, mate,
okay.
Like I said, when you're ready, we'll start with the first one. So
okay, pressure's on. I'm ready. Let's go.
All right. So question number 1: snow or sand?
Sand.
Home cooking or Uber Eats?
Home cooking.
Early bird or night owl?
Early bird.
Follow your head or your heart?
Head.
Comedy or action movies?
Oh, comedy.
Okay. Tea or coffee?
Coffee. Nuno.
Nuno. I was hoping you'd get that one in. Messi or Ronaldo?
Ronaldo.
All right, mate. 24 seconds. So not quite as good as Liam Rose, but I think there was some more thought in there. So touching on a few of those, you said Ronaldo. Why Ronaldo?
I'm a Manchester United fan. I think that sort of speaks for itself. I don't know. I mean, I appreciate both of them. I think they're both in their own right. I think that they're, arguably, probably, in the top. You could probably say they're probably both of them are the best in the world ever to play the game. That's up for discussion. Lean towards Ronaldo just because he played for Manchester United, and I don't know. I just like that. I like that he. Not that Messi doesn't have to work because he has such, natural talent, but I think Ronaldo is just a goal scoring machine, and that's what this game is about. I think it's about scoring goals, more goals than your opponent, and he's obviously, right now he's scored the most goals ever, so that's pretty remarkable. So Ronaldo all the way.
So you're definitely not one of those 50-odd% that are saying they wish that Ronaldo would leave the club at the end of the season?
I don't think so, no. I think if you take Ronaldo out of that squad right now, what he's given in terms of assists and goals and equalising and match-winning goals, I think it's hard to. I think he's still physically unbelievable. So you have to figure out a way to get the best out of him, even though you could argue that he's still producing and still delivering. So no, I don't think so. I think he's got to stay at Man U. I can't see him anywhere else now in Europe, unless he goes to like the MLS or the Victory or something.
Mate, like I said, I think he's definitely got plenty to add to United, but it would have been a PR disaster if he ended up at City. So they had to play checkmate there and block them. So it's probably the right result for everyone. And at the moment, the coaching's a little bit up in the air there at United. So it's hard to get the best out of someone when you don't have stability in the coaching ranks. So
yeah, well, the club's been sort of trying to find its feet since Sir Alex left, really. So I don't think you can blame that on one player, especially one of the best players to ever play the game. So.
You said home cooking. What do you like as a cook? Can you cook up a mean dish? If you were trying to impress your wife, what would you be?
I wouldn't say that I can cook up a mean dish. I'm just quite particular in timing and how hot it is. I mean, if you get something delivered from Uber Eats, there could be traffic or something, right? So then the meal's not going to be as hot. And then they say they're going to deliver it at 6:15, and then it doesn't come till 6:40 or something like that. And it's like, well, hold on a second, I want to eat at this time. I don't know. I'm very sort of disciplined in how much, when, how hot it is, all that sort of stuff. So that's probably the only reason why. I mean, I think I do a little bit more cooking than in the household as opposed to my wife, because I suppose I come home from training and I'm pretty particular in when I want to eat. So she's kind of like, well, then if you want to eat then you've got to prepare it. So, and she's looking after the kids. So, but yeah, that's pretty much the reason why I chose home cooking.
Right. And on the topic of movies, what's your favourite of all time?
I think I've got I think if I get asked this, I always say Seabiscuit, the horse movie.
Yep.
I don't know why. I just used to always come home after school, and there was no Netflix and all that sort of stuff. We had a big sort of DVD sort of cabinet, and it was just alphabetical order. And I always used to watch Seabiscuit for some reason, watch the horse racing, watch the training, and watch the mentality of the jockey. And I don't know why. I couldn't tell you why. I just gravitated towards that. And it's a pretty good movie, so I think I'll stick with it.
What are you currently watching? Netflix or the like?
Oh, I don't want to say.
Be brave. Come on, mate. You're a tough defender.
I think it's called Love Is Blind on Netflix. It's where it's a dating love show where they're in a separate, like the male and the female in their own room, and they're divided by a sort of a wall where they can't see each other, but they can talk to each other. And they're obviously trying to form a connection. And I don't know why I'm watching it. They're saying like, I love you after 3 days, and they haven't even seen the person. That's ridiculous. But I don't know why, but you just jump into bed, you just want to watch something easy after the kids are down, and it's kind of, we've already started watching it, so we'll just keep going. And it was in the top 10 on Netflix, I think. So I was like, all right, I'll give it a try. So I think I'm halfway through season 1. And I can't wait for season 2.
We've seen a lot softer side of you. So mission accomplished on trying to see the more personal side of Brendan Hamill, because you're now finding out you like Seabiscuit. You also like to watch this Love Is Blind show. So, mate, we are starting to see maybe you're not as tough a defender as we once thought.
Yeah, I might venture up and become a striker.
We won't tell anyone. That's all good. We'll keep it to ourselves, all right?
Yeah, can't share this.
All right, mate, and moving into the second game we like to play with you, it's called Lock, Stock and 3 Smoking Balls. 3 questions for you, no curveballs, just basically whatever is in your head, mate. You just tell us what you think.
Yep. Okay, let's go.
You could sign one player from any A-League club to join the Victory. Who would it be?
Ellie Bubble.
Okay, why?
Oh, he was my roommate in the first 2 years of Melbourne Heart. We sort of grew up together from sort of 17 to 19, 20 in our twilight years when we were both single. We had a great time. We're good friends. He was part of my bridal party. I always laugh at him. He always makes me laugh. So that wasn't a strategic, even though he is a very good striker and, you know, has played for Socceroos and signed overseas at big clubs in Europe. I would be selfish and sort of say I want to come be my roommate on the away trips.
Mate, there's plenty of good reasons there. Let me put you on the spot here then. So he is the right fit for all those different reasons. Someone to watch your shows with, and someone to, you know, I don't know, go for a run with, or maybe go down and have a punt. You go have a punt?
Don't go have a punt. We're definitely not watching Love Is Blind. I watch Love Is Blind with the wife.
All right. Well, who would you choose, though, if you had to pick a player that it's someone that I suppose that you're a fan of in the league or someone like that? Who would you choose solely for football? Don't worry if they don't even talk to you in the change rooms. Who would you pick solely as a footballer?
Oh, probably right now you'd probably go Jamie McLaren, just because he's proven he's climbing up that sort of all-time Australian goal scoring list and doesn't look like he's slowing down. So as I said before, football's about scoring goals and winning games and then winning trophies. So he's sort of the striker to go to.
He's the Ronaldo of the A-League.
Pretty much. So I think that's a no-brainer.
All right. If you could change one FIFA rule, what would it be?
One FIFA rule.
So obviously keepers I've had on the show wish they could come off the line for a penalty. So they think that you guys have got it easy with a whole bloody goal, and they think that they should be able to come forward. I just hate the offside rule where they play for 20 minutes and then they come back and you guys have already exhausted yourself and they find out there was an offside, way before. So there's plenty of things that I'm not happy with, but I'd love to know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I suppose that one's probably linked to the VAR in that offside, but I would probably change the offside in a sense of when I say a ball is clipped in a striker or someone's in an offside position, but you sort of you can't let the ball run because the player might be onside, but he's in the offside position. If you sort of head that ball and head it out for a corner, or you head it out and it goes to the opposition again, and then they get momentum or they get a chance created on that, I think maybe something along those lines, just off the top of my head, because a couple of years ago I got done on that. That's probably it. I mean, don't want to be too controversial talking about the VAR didn't get a decision go my way a few weeks back. But yeah, I mean, you know, yeah,
we'll lock that in. All right, mate, we're fine with
lock that one in. Yeah.
And if you could be anyone for a day, who would it be? Einstein, Michael Jordan, Elvis Presley, knock yourself out. Anyone, politics, whoever you'd like to be.
Steph Curry, maybe. Cristiano Ronaldo.
You can only pick one.
Chris Hemsworth. There's a few good ones.
Mate, I reckon that's probably the most accurate out of the ones you've said. You've got the chisel jaw. I reckon you could, and you've got the facial hair. I reckon, mate, the Hemsworth one might stick.
Yeah, I could be stunt double. I have been told that I do look like him, but I think he looks like me. But yeah, I could go with either of them. I mean, David Beckham back in in his prime, but I mean, it'd just be cool to be him. There'd be too many. Tiger Woods when he was
Hamill,
Roger
the
Federer.
Thunder God. Hamill, the Thunder God's got not a bad ring. I don't know. Maybe we can start hashtagging that around.
It's been sort of put out to me before, so I'll let everyone else decide.
All right, mate. Well, look, we know you're a very busy man, and I know at the moment you're finding it hard to even get the cooking done and hang out with the family, let alone do these sorts of interviews. But it's been an absolute pleasure having you on. To see the Victory doing great is not only great for you, but being a Victory fan, I'm loving every minute of it, and I hope we can add to the FFA Cup triumph we've already achieved this season. When I say we already, I consider it's a we, not a Victory thing. So, mate, all the best in the coming weeks. Hopefully the schedule's quite kind to you guys, and you keep racking up the wins and heading for some more silverware. But until next time, mate, when we hopefully get you back on for an update, thank you very much for joining the Football Revolution.
Thank you very much. Can't wait to see you at a game at Amy Park soon.
Mate, definitely.